Some people like to stay in the dark about their bills, don't really want to go for that. And here's the thing, I'm not going to push if that's the route you go, but I love to get clear paths to success. And honestly, in those meetings, people figure out their own path. It's not me telling them what to do. That's for sure.
So just to give you a little insight, this property that kind of looks like a tear down. I
Mm,
mean, this
mm.
property was in really bad condition in Garden of the Gods. Got 11 offers in
Whoa.
4 days.
Whoa.
We were kind of neck and neck with the winning offer. We got outbid by about $2,500. So that was a rough one. But that just gives you a little, a little inside peek of what's out there. There's still a ton of investors buying properties out there.
Mm. When you're talking about sound financial decisions, which I continue to bring up not only to my clients, but on this show, that's where it's at. We're talking about not just the loan, we're trying to get you in a position to thrive.
All right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have an incredible guest here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
All right, episode 43. We got Rene. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you, man?
Doing wonderful. I'm excited. On Saturday, a very good friend of mine and his wife, I'll be showing them probably close to 8 properties. So it's been a good solid, I want to say good solid month and a half since I've been out in the car showing properties. So we got good weather on Saturday. So looking
Thank
forward to
goodness.
that. That's going to be a move up purchase that they're looking to do. Staying busy. I'm helping a past client right now. Actually, just went over to her property last week.
Mhm.
Helped her buy this property in Rancho Cordova about 14 years ago.
Wow.
I love when this happens because I get to stay in contact with these clients for many years after we help them purchase. But I helped her buy this property for $108,000. That was man, like looking back, purchase prices were pretty low
Crazy.
back then.
Crazy.
We're going to be putting this property on the market for just under $450.
Wow.
So that's the good news.
Wow.
Is when I helped her purchase this property, she was a single mom, young, and for her to be able to build that much equity in a 14-year period is pretty phenomenal.
Incredible.
So that's going to be a good one, which kind of leads me to this next thing I was thinking about is I say this a lot. I'll do my best to put this out to my database. I'll say it on social media, but for anyone, especially my past clients or future clients that's thinking about doing improvements on their home,
Mm.
it can be something as small as I need to change out some fixtures, maybe do some plumbing, even on really applies on the bigger stuff. Like I want to remodel my kitchen. I want to replace my roof. I really want people to use me as a resource. I just had a client reach out to me letting me know that she wanted to replace all of the windows in her property.
Mm.
Said she got a quote to do that for right around $35,000.
35K for windows?
35,000 for windows. I'm like, what kind of windows? I mean, you can do custom. I mean,
Man.
we can do some really nice wood cased windows, but for most people that have traditional single family houses, vinyl is the way to go.
Of course.
So, anyways, I was able to let her know that I have a extremely good relationship with a gentleman that owns a local window company here in Sacramento. And I was able to give her the contact information. Out the door, she should be able to replace all of the windows in her house for under $15,000.
So let me get this straight, man. It's a 20K difference from what she got quoted and what it's not you doing it, it's another window company. 20K off?
20K off all day long. I mean, and that's the thing is, it could be various things. It can be, kitchen remodels. My background over the last 12 years, I have been remodeling and flipping homes for myself, but also for my clients. If during COVID, those were probably the 2 biggest years. I think I helped close to 10 sellers do bathroom remodels or kitchen remodels prior to me putting their homes on the market. in and out in under 30 days. It's something that I'm passionate about. The gal that I just mentioned that I'm going to be listing her house in Rancho Cordova, she had, when I did the walkthrough at her property, she said that she just got a roof replaced. Asked her how much, and she said it was a little over $20,000.
Mm.
I could have easily got that roof done for somewhere between 12 to 15, which is a huge savings,
Huge.
$8,000. So that's something that I want to be very vocal about moving forward, is just making sure that if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about making improvements, just reach out to me.
Chris, this is why you're different.
Yeah.
Not many people out there. Every real estate agent doesn't have the ins and outs about what to do with properties. And over and over and over again, I've seen you have the knowledge to help your client to get the property in the right condition prior to listing. And what is the end result of that? Making more money. It's easier to sell the property the way that you do it, and you do it with such a great background and knowledge of it to save money along the way. That's what makes you different as a real estate agent.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, we just got done helping your dear friends, your wife's best friend, purchase a property in Natomas. Now you guys live less than a mile away from each other.
So happy for him.
And I was able to just quickly just put it all together. We did all new flooring for them, all new baseboards. We got all of the existing kitchen cabinets professionally resurfaced and painted, and it was seamless for them. They didn't even have to blink. And the cool thing was, when it came time for the flooring, I get discounts from the shops that I purchased from. So not only was I able to, oversee the whole thing, but we got them a sizable discount. So
Man,
love doing it. It's something that I take great pride in. And, I joke around, next to my fiance, the most important contacts in my cell phone are my vendors. Whether it be my tile guy, my kitchen counter guy, my plumber. These are guys that have been working years and years and years with me, and they do a phenomenal job. I hold them close to my pocket, and I will absolutely be honored to share those with the people that are important to me.
incredible. That should be the first call for anything. And anything that's pertaining to the property, just to run it past you. That's where savings is going to happen. Let me ask you, what's the flip market looking like right now, man?
Man, that's a great question. So I actually, I haven't. The last flip that I did was about almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
There's a lot of flips happening in the marketplace right now for the people that can grab them, whether that be the court steps, on market.
Mm-hmm.
Dino and I actually just made an offer on a property that I was really looking forward to getting, mainly because it's I walk my dogs every morning in my neighborhood, saw this property go up, was super excited about it. So just to give you a little insight, this property that kind of looks like a tear down. I mean, this property was in really bad condition in Garden of the Gods. Got 11 offers.
Whoa.
In 4 days.
Whoa.
We were kind of neck and neck with the winning offer. We got outbid by about $2,500. So that was a rough one. But that just gives you a little inside peek of what's out there. There's still a ton of investors buying properties out there. That property, I'm guessing, will probably close that escrow next week, and we'll just kind of wait and see how long it takes for that rehab. I found another one that Dino and I made an offer on. We were hoping that we can get it off market. The sellers, at the end of the day, decided that they're going to test the market. They're going to put it on the MLS. But if all goes well, we're going to make an offer once it goes on the MLS. If we get this property, the goal is our good friends, I won't say who they are, but you have them pre-approved. The goal is, if we get this property tied up, they're going to be with us every step of the way to pick out all of their own finishes. Wow. They're going to be, essentially working with me as the project manager of the rehab. I've only done this once before, but it's super exciting because, from a buyer standpoint, they don't have to come out of pocket $80, $90, $100,000.
It's incredible,
right? All they got to do is just pick out all the finishes, be with me to meet our vendors, really just kind of get a vision for the project. And then, once the house is done, I won't put it on the MLS. I'll sell it directly to them, and now they get to move into a completely remodeled house that they picked out all the finishes for.
That's incredible, man. And those are the success stories. It hasn't been as much opportunity to get these off market things like it used to, right? That was
True.
your key, man. You always had these pocket listings and things before it hit the market. There's less, but they're out there, man.
They are. Here's one thing that I will say that I think we're going to start seeing a little more of, and this is talking about flips and you know, opportunities. Is I do think we're going to start seeing some more short sales coming out,
Mm.
and those make for some unique opportunities for people that could potentially get, you know, a property under market value.
Why do you say that?
Well, I say that because, you know, number one, there's been about two or three that have come across my cell phone over the
Uh-huh.
last couple weeks.
Okay.
I talked to an agent that is based out of Vegas, and he said that he's currently working on, and this is California wide. This
Okay.
is not just Vegas.
Uh-huh.
He's currently working on 45 short sale listings.
Really?
So really, for me, it's just like getting a temperature of what are some of the bigger agents seeing.
Uh-huh.
These are agents that have relationships with attorneys, because generally how it works out is, for whatever the hardship is for the person that is needing to short sell their house, it could be job loss,
Mhm.
it can be, you know, there was a death in the family, whatever it
Mhm.
might be. Usually, the first person they call is not a realtor.
Yeah.
Usually, they're reaching out to somebody for help.
Yep.
Um,
Makes sense.
and so, you know, I have just a sneaky suspicion that we're going to start seeing a little bit more of it. I think that there's probably going to be, not to get into politics, but I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing some people losing their jobs over the next 12 months,
Mhm.
federal type jobs, and
You're
you
right
know,
about that, but you know, the reason why I asked, and you may be 100% right, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around it, is if you run into a hardship and you're forced to sell, you still have to be not in an equitable position for a short sale. So, you know, values have slowly, slower than it has been, but they continue to go up.
yeah,
If you bought over leveraged, Cal HFA, things like that, you might not have enough in there. But I'm just, you know, that's a very interesting thought that I hadn't put my mind on. That people even closely leveraged, if you can't pay commissions and stuff like that, means it's short sale, right?
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. I'm just saying that there will be some that I feel will be
Interesting.
sprinkled here and there.
Yeah.
So we'll
Good call.
we'll
Good
we'll,
call.
we'll wait and see how that goes. So transitioning to you, man. I mean, you're a guy that wears many hats.
Mm.
You are a producing loan officer. You're out there getting people pre-approved to purchase homes.
That's right.
Doing refis when they come across your desk, obviously. Um, Owner of the mortgage company. So what I want to hear is, number one, starting with the company. How's the company doing? Are you guys seeing a pickup in deals? What does your world look like right now with Golden Bay?
So nobody's going to be excited about the numbers we closed with in January, but taking a step back and when we really looked at it, it's still by far the strongest January we've seen in 4 years. It just is. And it feels different. You're just not happy because you're used to closing a bunch of transactions, right? You know? So with that being said, active files that we have right now, extremely strong for February. So 100% has been an uptick because night and day from what it was just last year or the January before. So that part is exciting. Um, you know, the offers that are going out, big time negotiations happening, meaning a lot of people with buy downs and things like that going on. So it's a unique, different little market that I'm seeing right now, just because there's a lot of creativity having to go into every scenario that we have.
Yeah. So, I was asking you this before the pod. This is I feel like, scenarios that I'm coming across, and I think you are too. Let's talk about a homeowner that, is definitely made the decision. We need to do a move up purchase. Usually, like, some of those tail signs are, we just had our second kid.
That's Bingo. That's been the main reason why.
The family's growing.
Yep.
You know, it could be, you know, now we have a blended family
Mm-hmm.
and we're starting to outgrow this home, or, you know, it could be various reasons. And now they're wanting to justify, well, I got this house that I own. It has 150, 250, $300,000 of equity with an interest rate of 3
Or less.
or less, a total mortgage payment out the door of $2,000 a month. Can I somehow keep this property without having to sell it and then purchase another property? So talk about that.
Wild scenario, because you know what? It didn't even click in my head until we saw two of these come across my desk over a 45-day period of time. It's always been the understanding that if you sell your home and use that money towards the next purchase, that's the way to keep the dollar amount down. But here's the huge opportunity for people, and I believe way more people fall into this category than we thought. But if you do have an interest rate super low, if you bought and you've been on that property for a while, the amount of rent that you can get for that place, aligned with only putting the minimum down on the new purchase, I'm seeing opposite of what I thought. We're seeing an overall net number lower on keeping the home and putting the least amount down because the rents are so high, compared to selling and putting that on, because obviously that next purchase is coming with a higher interest rate and everything like that. So, um, did you ever think? I mean, you've always been, hey, if you want to keep your payment as low as possible, sell this thing and put that towards the next, and you're going to have the lowest payment. Hasn't that always been what we thought?
I would imagine so, especially if you're thinking I can put 20% down if I get the proceeds. That's what I thought.
Just this morning, I calculated it for a client. They only pay a hair over $2,000 per month, but the rent in their area, because they've had this property for a while, is between 3,500 to approaching 4,000. So they're gonna positive cash flow even at the low amount, $1,500 a month.
I want to stop you right there real quick. That's crazy in itself.
Crazy.
Because anyone that knows real estate in California, you talk to investors that are savvy, the first thing they'll tell you is you can't make positive net cash flow in California, but you can. That's the exception right there, right?
It is buying owner occupied, taking advantage of the interest rates when they dropped. Most of these people own the property prior to those rates dropping. So they saw all this appreciation and their rate is 3% or less. I have over 1,000 past clients at a 3% interest rate or less, which is wild.
Okay.
So in that same scenario, if we were to sell that house and put $180K towards their purchase price, to keep them at their monthly payment that they're comfortable with, was around $3,500, I got to sit there at like a $550 purchase price to get me to the right monthly payment. But $550 is not the easiest for what they need to move up to. I ran the numbers this morning. If they positive cash flowed $1,500 from their existing home, they did save some money. So putting just the minimum 5% down on a conventional loan, it jumped their payment at a $650 purchase price up to about $4,700. So $4,700, target is $3,500, $1,200 more than what they want to spend on the new property. But they're positive cash flowing $1,500 over here. Their net between the two, they're net positive per month $300. Wild.
That's insane.
Wild. So they were excited to hear that this is an option for them. And at the same time, this is a way for them to make sure that they can afford in their better price range, because they can get something that they want for $650K.
And you're helping somebody that, the number one way to build wealth in America is through owning real estate. And don't get me wrong, I love it when I get a phone call from a past client that needs me to sell their property.
Of course.
I also get extremely fired up when they're able to keep it. When they're able to keep that in their portfolio, because one of two things is going to happen. They're going to pull off that scenario that you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, rates will take a downward. They'll go down. They'll be able to refinance, their payment will drop, and hopefully they'll be able to keep their rental and they'll have a good experience with that rental. Maybe in 5, 10 years, they might be in a position where, okay, we need that money. And what do you think is going to happen over the next 5, 10 years?
Appreciation.
It's only going to appreciate. So to me, that's just like a win-win scenario. And I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of people that are going to be in that same position if they're diligent enough to have had the savings to put that 5% down. If they're diligent enough to have that and they own a property, I think that that's a wonderful, wonderful route to go. Is now I own 2 properties.
100%. If you purchased your home somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago and were able to refinance to that super low rate, I bet you'd be surprised when you start crunching numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, looking forward, I think that we're gonna, and I'm already seeing it, man. This is the busiest start that I've had in about 2.5 years.
Mhm.
You know, I think that we're gonna see a lot of movement come summertime,
Correct.
and just having the conversations with these people, because I had a long time past client reach out to me and met with them on Sunday for a listing appointment in Elk Grove. They're not going to be putting it on the market until about May,
Mhm.
but they wanted to know everything up front. They wanted to get prepared. They're doing some traveling coming up, but I think it's good to kind of get in front of it
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
and have the conversations. I mean, how many clients do you meet with? And I'm sure this is something that you probably, you spread this message to the people that you come in contact with of, it doesn't matter if they're going to be pulling the trigger in 2 weeks, 2 months, a year. I mean, can you talk real quick about, and this really applies to first time buyers more than anyone, of, I haven't had my credit report pulled in years, and we're thinking about potentially doing a purchase. Is there a benefit to like sitting down with you and getting the credit report pulled and going through that process?
You're absolutely speaking my language here. It is so beneficial to talk through it because there's some intricacies about a purchase that people don't think about. And if they would have positioned themselves prior to the offer going in, we would get less conditions on the approval, less documentation needs to be in there, less letters of explanation about where money is coming from, all these things. If they own a home, departing resident stuff, putting some thought into that. And yes, pulling your credit report and seeing what's on there, we can pull a soft credit report and see that. But people don't know that we can come in, sit down, not pull a credit report because you know your score is around this, but we can go detailed through what's going to be on the credit report: car payments, minimum payments on credit cards, any installment loans, education loans. I can come up with a potential buying scenario without even pulling credit and starting to really find out what their buying power is. Super non invasive, not even a soft credit report. Um, the people that go that route, they are so much more ready when they're ready to pull the trigger and find the house. But on top of that, the stress level about what's going to come, they already know.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. I'm going to use my own personal, I'll get vulnerable on this subject, because you know that we sit down once a month, we do goal setting.
Yep.
And, Kendra and I, we said enough's enough. Like, we are 100% sitting down once a month. It takes about an hour and a half, and we do our monthly budget. And I joke around with her. I'm like, man, this is the most anxiety meeting that I have of the month.
Mm,
Because it's like we get to sit down and we pull up our bank statements, our credit card statements.
that is scary.
It is scary. Yeah. But here's what it gives me. It gives me clarity.
Yeah.
Like, when we did this on Thursday last week for the month of January, and this is what I saw that I was, and I probably mentioned this a little bit to you, that was a huge win. I looked at her when it was all done. I'm like, I can't believe that I only spent like $120 the entire month on eating out.
Good for you, man.
Like, man, like normal.
How do you feel, man?
I feel
Like,
great.
I bet you feel better anyway. You save money and feel better.
Hey, and this is what it is. It's like a compound effect of, okay, now that I know how good I feel, we're gonna keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Good for you, man.
we've realized that where the money is going crazy for us is meals and entertainment and on trips. So those are like the two areas for us. We're also like looking at other ways, like even on groceries. We're like,
Mhm.
how can we figure out a way in our household to not spend more than $1,500 a month on groceries,
Mhm.
right? Where I'm going with this is if you look at our January budget to start this year out, I think it was somewhere around maybe $5,000 less than what we had done the previous couple months before
Man,
that.
I love this.
So
I love this,
so I
man.
compare that though to somebody that's looking to purchase a home
Yeah.
that sits down with you and just gets the full overview. Because there might be somebody that's like, okay, after reviewing everything with you, now I know that it's possible, but it's not going to be possible for another 8 months.
Yep.
But you have that clarity now, and it's a goal that you can work towards, right? So
Big time.
yeah,
I'll even put it this way. If you think you can afford, let's say, that $3,500 per month payment, but you're scared about it, we need to talk about it. We're going to budget for it. Let's see if you can go 3 months because your rent is $2,500. Let's see if you can put that extra $1,000 away and live on a month-to-month basis and still love every bit about that month. Or are you feeling strapped? Are you stressed?
yep,
Don't you think how valuable is that? And that's when you're talking about sound financial decisions, which I continue to bring up not only to my clients but on this show. That's where it's at. We're talking about not just the loan. We're trying to get you in a position to thrive.
100%. And also the other question I have, like, you've been doing this for a long time. How many times have you gotten to the point where, and I understand, like you said, like we don't even have to pull credit, and I get that.
Mhm.
I'm so pro it though. Like I'm so pro, just pull the credit.
Yeah.
And the reason why I am is because how many times have you done that and you found something that they were not aware of?
Constantly.
Constantly. I remember it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna buy a new truck.
Mhm.
And I'm at the dealership. I'm like, I got 800 FICO score. I'm good.
Mhm.
And they pulled my credit, and something was on there that I had no knowledge of. And it was a credit card. It wasn't like the end of the world, but it was like an active credit card that I thought I didn't even know I had it. Long story short, I had a bunch of late penalties on there for not making my payment. Didn't even know it was like a credit card that even existed. It's things like that, that you just don't know. So very, very pro people getting ahead of the curve. Just sit down with Rene, let him look at the financial picture. Let him assess where you're at, where you need to be. And, I say that, man, you're more than a loan officer. You're like, there's so many loan officers that just do a bunch of transactions, but I just knowing you and knowing the years I've worked with you, you're not a guy that's just about the deal. You're about sitting down and helping people make sound decisions.
100%. Now, that isn't everybody's cup of tea. Some people like to stay in the dark about their bills, don't really want to go for that. And here's the thing, I'm not going to push if that's the route you go, but I love to get clear paths to success. And honestly, in those meetings, people figure out their own path. It's not me telling them what to do. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. So we'll transition real quick. We got a big weekend coming up.
What's going on this weekend?
Man, you know what's going on. Here's
What, is this something going on
we
this
got
weekend?
Super Bowl. Now it is probably one of the least exciting Super Bowls I can think of in so many years.
If the Chiefs win, then everybody will say that.
It's just crazy, man. Like for a 49ers fan, I guess this is weird. I kind of don't like the Eagles. Like I don't like the Eagles at all.
I'm
Like,
with you.
I would say that, like,
Isn't it the worst when you hate both teams are in there? You
when
don't want either of them to
when
win.
I hate both teams. Now, I watched. Shout out to our homie. I'm gonna be with him tomorrow. Gonna go over to his compound, do a little sauna, cold plunge, read some scripture. Dr. Mondo breaks my heart. He's a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, and it finally hit me. And I'll tell you what it was. I watched the Super Bowl last year as a Niners fan, and I'm telling you, you didn't even hear the words come out of my mouth. They cheated. I just took it as an L. We lost, right? You can, Terrell Owens was on Cameron's show recently, and Terrell was just spitting bars that it's not even like a little bit, it's blatant. It's blatant. We're now to the point where I think the entire world can see how blatant the calls are, how rigged the NFL is. It pains me because all I've had my entire life is like my outlet is watching sports. And you want to believe that it's not rigged. You want to believe that that's BS. But can I get your point on what do you think is going on right now with the NFL, the refs, and the Chiefs?
Here's the thing, man. It doesn't really make sense to me because, I mean, is it that good for the league because Taylor Swift is there? Is that what it is? I mean, because the same team that nobody seems to be cheering for, continuing to be in there, seems like people are getting turned off by this. I don't even see why it benefits the league for it to happen.
That's a good point, but I think the NFL is big on scripts, and I think I don't know. People have been talking about the Taylor Swift thing, but I think this has more to do with Patrick Mahomes being like the face of the NFL. And also the thought of like, can it be done? Can we witness a three-peat?
Man, I feel like the NFL would protect Tom Brady before wanting to pump up Pat Mahomes. Like, people don't love him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm baffled by it. I'm with you. I'm not saying anything you said was wrong, but I don't even see the benefit. Like,
yeah. Here's the thing that I would say. It's not Mahomes' fault.
I agree.
It's not Kelsey's fault, even though I do feel like Kelsey it is kind of funny that like his numbers, like he's not the same Kelsey. He's still a threat and he's still a great tight end, but he's like nowhere near to what he was before he started dating Taylor. But I don't know. It's hard to watch. I will be rooting. Rooting's not the right word. I do not want to see the Chiefs get a three-peat. So I guess
hate.
I'm on the Eagles. There's one player in particular. I love people that just go about their business, that they're humble, great people. There's probably like a lot of good players on that Eagles team. Cooper is a dog. By the way, he was like a dog playing basketball in high school. But I'm a big Saquon Barkley guy.
I was about to say, who's your favorite player this weekend? I think we're on the same boat.
Saquon.
Who is not cheering for? I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
And obviously, you heard me, hesitate on giving because you got to do it in the playoffs. He's done it. Now you still got to do it this next game. Cement how dope you are as a player. Go ahead and do it this weekend, big dog. I'm cheering for him, man.
Yeah. So what are you having Super Bowl at your house? Are you going somewhere?
Yeah, we're gonna have, me and the baseball crew with Lil Man's team. We are tight knit, and we gonna get the boys together, and we gonna do a bunch of tri-tips the way that the brisket looks, So we're gonna do it that way. A bunch of food, people over. I'm limiting my alcohol consumption for the year, but this is one of the days that it's checked on there.
I love it.
So we're going to have it over. I believe half of the people coming over are just going to be happy for Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care who wins. But I'm struggling with this one, man.
I know.
I'm struggling with this game, man.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the highlight of the Sunday for me is what I'm cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 22-pound Wagyu brisket from Snake River Farms.
Man,
so
did you go hunt it yourself, man? 22 pounds is
legit.
legit.
We got, I think last I counted, we got about 14 adults and 8 kids.
Mm.
So it'll be a packed house. Kendra's doing a nacho bar, so we're gonna have brisket nachos.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. I just got a new Traeger, so it's gonna be probably like somewhere between a 16 to 18 hour smoke. And for the very first time, I'm doing it with the beef tallow. So it's gonna be good.
That sounds incredible, but come on, give it to it. Everybody wants to know who you betting on.
So I'm not betting.
No, you need to say who you're betting on, man. Who are you betting on?
Okay. So I'm gonna
Don't be no punk.
I'm gonna take the Eagles. The last time
What's the spread right now? Does anybody know? Can we get a update on where the spread lies right this second?
So you know that when the Eagles Chiefs played the last time they played in the Super Bowl, it was a very high scoring game.
It was. I think Philly blew that game. In the first half, they should have been up big.
Mm.
The Eagles are real good that year. I don't necessarily think that they're not better right now.
The craziest thing about the Chiefs is they're winning these Super Bowls not being the most impressive teams. And the crazy thing about Mahomes is he's not extremely dope. Like, I think his best asset is he keeps plays alive and he can scramble. He can make the small passes when they count, but like
Just clutch, man. The
I
dude is
know.
clutch,
He's
man.
clutch.
I always give props. I call it how I see it, man. It's clutch because he ain't put up no great numbers this year.
Can you imagine if they didn't have their rookie Xavier Worthy though?
Man,
He's made
balling,
such an impact. So
balling, man.
what's the spread, Nate?
What's the spread?
-1.5 Kansas City.
So they're favored, huh?
Over under is 48.5. It's kind of high, I think.
I'm gonna go Eagles 31, Chiefs 28. And I think what's
Field
gonna
goal win.
Yeah, and I think what's gonna end up happening is it's gonna come down. This is what I hope happens. It's gonna come down to the Chiefs trying to make a field goal to tie the game, to push it to overtime, and they miss the field goal. So that's my take. 31-28 Eagles.
I guess I'll start with I hope you're right. But I've lost a lot of money over the years betting against the Chiefs, and I will not do it again. I believe the 48. So it's an enticing number, but I'm a bet that they end up right around that 44, 45 mark, and I'm going 25-21 Chiefs.
That's wild. Who's the MVP at Super Bowl?
I mean, it's got to be Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, even if here's the thing, I'm cheering for Worthy, but I don't care how good he does. It's still the pass comes from Mahomes. So even if he goes off, I don't see how you can not give it to Mahomes.
And I'm gonna go Super Bowl MVP Saquon Barkley.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man.
I mean, can you imagine the New York Giants
be sick.
fans if they've already had to witness this?
Yeah.
But can you imagine if they see the Eagles win a Super Bowl and Saquon gets the MVP?
Oh my God,
That will be absolute chaos.
I'm here for it. I ain't got no love lost for New York Giants fans. That was a dumb. Why you let him go?
Man.
Why
All right,
you let
man.
him go?
Well, wish you the best. We'll be back. We got some exciting guests coming on. I cannot wait to share with the world some upcoming guests that we have coming on the Legacy Lounge. So
Wait, hold on. Before we sign off, man. Luca? Come on, man.
Luca.
Come on.
I woke
Luka.
up Sunday morning. I was in Pismo, and I woke up Sunday morning, and I was like, "Is this like? I don't even know how this is real."
Well, you were asleep when the news dropped?
Yeah, I went to bed
Were
early.
you awake when the news dropped?
I was, man, and the phone started blowing up, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
I don't know. I think it's wild. I was telling Nate this. Everyone wants to be an expert.
Listen, you want to, I am, but go
Okay.
ahead.
I think the Mavs are going to be looking really good. I think AD was a big come up for them.
Look at that. Look at that, man. I didn't expect that good response out of you.
I-
What's funny is earlier when he brought it up, he was like, "People are gonna think I'm crazy for thinking that." I'm like, "No, it's a valid take."
I think the Mavs will go deeper in this in a playoff run this year than the Lakers. That's my thought.
Immediately
there's no
now, I
moves.
agree.
Immediately now,
If there's no moves made today,
uh, I cannot justify what the Dallas Mavericks fans are feeling seeing Luka get traded like that. I think the GM, but it's a wait and see thing. I think Kyrie is special enough if he's partnered with like an AD, and the Mavericks are deep. We'll have to wait and see on that. I'm waiting to see, is it possible over the next 24 hours for another blockbuster trade to go down, such as like, can LeBron go to Golden State? Something like that.
Man, that would
It'd be the happiest moment of my life because I know how much you and your wife and all so many people, you guys love LeBron, right? Can you imagine LeBron wearing a Warriors jersey? I was prohibited to even talk on your team, by the way, and I'm doing it again.
Would you wish that on me? Oh man, can we go back to the other trade? I don't even win.
Yeah,
man.
So
hell
Luka,
no.
Luka AD, your thoughts?
My thoughts. What the hell was Luka doing behind the scenes to even have the GM even consider this?
I don't think he was doing anything.
What? There's no way that he was doing anything. There's has to be way more behind the scenes to even suggest to even entertain this, let alone pull it off. I know they say he doesn't work out, doesn't put a lot of effort into things, but just being out of shape can't be it. It feels like a straight up, there must be some underlying effort, like not wanting to pull through with his side of it, people looking at him sideways because yes, he balls in when it comes down to it, but not putting any effort outside of it, not putting any effort into defense. I feel like there's way more stuff going on behind the scenes to even entertain this because you can put up with a lot of, if you're a bad defender, nobody cares, man. Fucking Dirk Nowitzki, he was a terrible defender, but he always at least tried. Steph Curry, not a great defender, but you never question his effort. I believe everybody's questioning the effort and his will to even like do stuff for his teammates and everything. I feel like we're not even getting any of the background story of it because you would never even entertain it unless there was something really wrong behind the scenes.
but even then, why only AD in the first round, or why not shop him around?
I see where your logic's at, but
Hundreds of millions of dollars. If you have to give a super max to a dude who don't want to give all effort your way,
I get it.
yeah, but
Well, why
this
not
is the same
shop?
dude that took a underwhelming regular season Dallas Mavericks all the way to the NBA Finals last year. I mean, they were like
and the other
fifth
team sought him out to attack him the whole effing time.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
think they should have been there last year. He overachieved to get there, but he's such a liability on defense that everybody is like, "Whoa, where you at? Where you at?" And you don't even put the effort into trying to shore that up. Did you see how many people commenting on how round his face is in his interviews when he's being announced to the Lakers? And they're like, "Man, look." I'm just saying, I'm just food for thought is all that I'm saying. It don't make no sense to me to even entertain, let alone pull it off, unless there's more behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm dropping this on you live, so it's not like I had you react to this beforehand.
I look at the NBA and there's probably if I had to take a stab at it, only about maybe 5 teams in the entire NBA that are like really, really good at defense. Like we'll call like good defensive teams.
Mhm.
But the NBA on a whole, I think, struggles with having really good defenders.
Yeah, here's the thing. Regardless of the names of the person, when your best player and the superstar of the league is the one that is the laziest behind the scenes, if that's your leader, that's your super max guy, man, to where I'm going to trade you for somebody who can't even stay on the court because he's hurt all the time.
AD hasn't been hurt like a lot over the last year, though. I don't think he's been pretty
He's
good.
always hurt, man. I mean, but I'm just saying he's a risk. He's not. He's far from a surefire. Now, Dallas is way better defensive team right now. Kyrie is still that dude. So I'm not even mad at this, you know. But it's just wild, and my mind races to I'm always asking why, and
it'll be very interesting to see how this progresses. A lot of trades. I'm one of the few people with this whole Sacramento Kings trade, and we just heard that we now got Valanciunas, which I think is a huge pickup. I'm pumped on Zach LaVine. And I wish Fox nothing but the best, man. What a constant professional, just like a stud. Him and Wemby under Coach Pop are going to do big things. The emotional Chris, about a month or two ago, said that I saw the Warriors going deep in the West. But if you look at the West right now, it's hard not to pick. I think the team that I would pick in the West would probably be the Thunder, man. The Thunder just are stacked.
They're really good, and since it's the second year of them being good, I'm a little more of a believer. They're not. I mean, Houston is number 3 right now in the West. Too new. They're balling, but so what? I'm not worried about them.
With this new trade, do you think the Mavs will potentially go back to the finals?
They have the recipe for being a problem in the playoffs, right? I'm not sure what happens during the season, but Kyrie locked in, and when you have just a rim protector like that, man, AD when on the court is the real deal. Let me ask you this: going back to that trade, though, man, was it you who sold that house to Luka before he got news that he was being shipped out, man?
That's a real estate agent's dream right there. Can you imagine selling a $15 million home and then reselling that $15 million home less than a month later?
Listen, man, people in that tax bracket don't have flip rules to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So having to wait a certain amount of months before selling it again, they'll go get another cash buyer in a second. But
maybe Luka keeps it as a rental.
We just showed him the formula of how it could net positive to him. So, man, $15 million and you get shipped out?
Wild.
What? Did you see Kevin Durant getting word of the news on the bench?
On the bench. Shocked. Well,
he said,
we got less than 24 hours.
Man, it's crazy.
Super Bowl Sunday, wine or tequila?
Tequila.
Okay.
We tasting.
All right, well, I'm going to go to your house since you're not drinking wine. And if it's okay, I'm just going to grab a couple bottles from the wine fridge for Sunday.
Hey, you're more than welcome, man. Come on through.
All
right,
man.
y'all.